Yo, welcome to Fast Forward Mindset Motivational Podcast. I'm your host, Coach James. This is where we rewire your thoughts, reset your mindset, and fast forward your life. No more rewinding, just discipline, motivation, and the truth you need to become unstoppable. If you're ready to elevate your mindset and take control of your future, you're in the right place. Let's go.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Hope all is going well. So, y'all, we at that time where it's time for Thanksgiving. I'm actually recording this episode the day after Thanksgiving, just so y'all know. So my belly is already full of all the goodness, just so you know. I had a good time. Got to hang out with family a little bit, got to eat a little bit, and got to enjoy myself a little bit. So it was a great holiday. No complaints about it. So, y'all, if y'all have not followed the podcast, make sure you go do so. I'm not sure what platform did you choose to listen to my podcast, but whatever platform it is, hit that follow button. So, y'all, a while back, I got put in a very bad scenario, which is how I'll put it. It was a bad scenario. And the scenario, how I pictured it is collateral damage is a mofo. The thing about collateral damage is sometimes you're not even sure what's going on. You're not in the middle of anything. And unfortunately, you take the hit for the consequences and the repercussions. And that's kind of how collateral damage works. And that's why I said collateral damage is a mofo, because it happens that way. Way back in the day, I used to hang out with a buddy, and we all worked together. Me, him, and another guy. And I was cool with both of them. I'm one of those guys where you know me, you know me. I'm not gonna have no beef with nobody. I'm not gonna try to have no drama. You see me today, you see the same thing tomorrow for me. But back to my story, I got put in a very bad predicament because these two fellas that I was hanging out with end up bumping heads. And I'll tell you, it was such a small scenario as to why. I can't even remember why. But whatever, I ended up getting pulled in the middle of it. And one of my buddies wanted me to go against the other buddy, I guess you could say, or wanted me to have some type of vendetta with him. And I'm like, hey man, don't put me in the middle of your drama because you and this person is now beefing. And I'm not going to pick and choose sides because that's what you want me to do. And so I gave him my spiel, my take on the scenario, and how I felt about being placed in the middle of it. And he wasn't the happiest about it, but at the end of the day, I stood my ground. So let me ask you this. When you get put into collateral damage, is what I call it, in a scenario you choose not to be in, how do you handle it? What do you do? What choices do you make? Now, there's something in my mind that tells me that some of y'all are willing to be part of the collateral damage voluntarily, right? It's not like it's involuntary. It's like you're volunteering to be part of collateral damage, which to me means you're putting yourself in the middle of it. You're okay picking sides. You're okay saying who's right and who's wrong. You're okay choosing who you think is the person that has the less issues, the less problems to whatever the scenario may be. That's what that means. If you're willing to be part of collateral damage. My thing is that I didn't have anything against anybody. I didn't, I don't take advantage of scenarios. Definitely don't take advantage of people. And I don't shoot shots at people. I don't do that. Even if it's with someone that I've had a disagreement before in the past, even if there was a scenario where there was some type of animosity, I'm never going to shoot a shot at that person to someone else and say this about that person. That's just not how I roll because I don't want to be part of collateral damage. And so I always keep my distance. But for you, the question is how do you not get caught up? Because sometimes you just get caught up no matter what in collateral damage. Having to decide which friends to hang out with because there's an issue, it sucks. It's horrible. I mean, no one really wants to be put in that predicament. But sometimes it just happens because it's collateral damage. I remember way back in the day, there was this movie that came out with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it's called Collateral Damage. And I'm not going to even say I'm dating myself with this movie because if I remember correctly, it wasn't one of those movies that was out in the 70s and the 80s. It was it was not a recent movie, let me just say that, but it wasn't out that far, right? It wasn't aged that far ago. But it was called Collateral Damage. Well, in this movie, Arnold Schwarzenegger's wife, and I think it was his son, end up getting killed. And what he did was he wanted revenge. So he went to figure out one, why was his wife and his son killed? And two, what happened and why were they in the middle of it? And so it was these little things that he had to do to get to the end of the finish line to figure out what happened. Well, at the end of the day, it was some government type, terrorist type act. But his wife and son got killed because of collateral damage. And if you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you have not, and you want to catch a good movie that's aged, go check it out. It's called Collateral Damage. But anyways, back to my scenarios with my friends when I was part of Collateral Damage. So what did I do to remain mutual? To have both of them still say we're cool and we're friends. And I wasn't looking for that. But I also, however, I wasn't looking for them to say, I'm no longer cool with James because he's cool with this person still. I still don't want to be in the middle of that. I want it to be mutual between both of them. I want to still hang out with both of them. Now, separately now, but I still want to hang out with them. Right. And so one thing I did was I remained neutral, like I said. I didn't try to play pole position. I didn't try to say, hey, this person did this, they did that, so you shouldn't like them or you shouldn't be hanging out. I didn't do that. I didn't pick sides. So don't pick sides, right? Remain mutual. Now, I'm not saying you got to play Dr. Phil and try to Dr. Phil the scenario and try to get them back to come back to where they're cool. I mean, if you choose that, you do, but you don't have to, and you shouldn't have to, right? But my point is that you can remain mutual without having to play an in-between person that's trying to be a problem solver. That doesn't have to be you. You can just hang out with them separately. Don't pick sides, right? I would say another thing that I did is I tapped into my emotional intelligence. And this is where some of us lack emotional intelligence. We don't have a way to find or know a way to find a connection with someone to try to emotionally feel their emotions. And if you lack that skill, then you can find a way to emotionally connect with people. You just got to keep your thoughts and your opinions out of it and try to understand that person. Don't try to say if they're right or they're wrong. Don't try to say, oh, yeah, you have a right leg to stand on because this happened. Because when you do that, then you lose sight of emotional connection. Your emotional intelligence goes out the window when you try to side with people. What I'm trying to relate to you is that you want to find an emotional connection as to how they feelings are in that predicament and why they may be feeling that way. Right? Once you do that, you tap into your emotional intelligence. You understand this person's feelings. You understand the other person's feelings. Keep your opinion out of it. That way you can try to feel how both sides feel in that scenario. Because again, you're just collateral damage. You're just in the middle of it. You shouldn't have to try to say who's right or who's wrong, but you should try to find some type of connection with their emotions behind what's happening That way you can say, I can see how you feel. I can see how they both feel. But again, it's not for you to play problem solver and be Dr. Phil. It's just to be there to understand both of them. Again, remain mutual. That's how you do that. Keep your distance. You know, in certain scenarios, when things get rough and things get tough, you have to keep your distance. You have to stay away for a little bit until the fire dies down. And if you don't want to be part of collateral damage, sometimes you have to do that. I know I found myself during times of being part of collateral damage where people wanted me to just really weigh in and give them my feedback. But I started keeping my distance because I knew that was warranted for me for them. And when I felt that that's what was wanted from me, I just said, I'm not being in the middle of it. And I just kept my distance. But have you ever met somebody that had drama with somebody and you knew someone else who just got involved because they can get involved? That's the person you don't want to be. You don't want to be part of someone else's drama, pettiness, disagreements, because in reality, it's really not your thing. It's their thing. You don't want to be part of collateral damage. Because I'll tell you, when that person gets upset with the other person and they retaliate against them, you're going to be part of the retaliation. I'll tell you that. And if you are, you can't be upset because you inserted yourself in the problem. So find a way to keep your distance. That solves that. Again, like I said earlier, y'all, collateral damage is a mofo. Keep your distance. Stay away from it if you can. If you happen to be part of collateral damage, again, there's ways of handling it. If you didn't hear what I said, go back and rewind this episode so you can hear the suggestions I gave on how you stay neutral in this whole scenario. Hey, y'all, thank y'all for listening. Don't forget to check out my website. It's www.rewirethewayouthink.com. Right? That's Rewire the Way You Think. That's my podcast slogan. So that makes sense. That should be easier for you to remember my website because that's my slogan. If you have not followed the podcast, like I said, y'all go hit the follow button, get yourself a perk. What that perk is that when you follow the podcast, when a brand new one drops, you'll get the alert that a brand new one just dropped. I'm not hard to find, y'all. I'm on IG all day, every day. It's James Watkins at 40 and Fit Life Coach. If you're struggling with thoughts of suicide, thoughts of hurting yourself or someone else, please don't hesitate to call the Suicide Prevention Hotline at 988. Hey, y'all, I'm Coach James. Let me help rewire the way you think. And as I always say, that's my 2 cents, y'all. Peace.
Thank y'all for listening to today's episode. And remember, don't rewind your life, fast forward it. Until next time, keep moving forward. Hey, y'all, I'm Coach James. Let me help rewire the way you think. All right, y'all. Peace.